So ACP Avinash is back with his team, and this time he's solving not just one murder, but a series, as you've seen in the trailer. And I have the team of Silence 2, the Night Owl Bar Shootout with me, Manoj Bajpayee, Prachi Desai, and director Aban. Thank you for the time, guys. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you
Welcome
so much.
to DNA. I'll start with a simple question. In India, when something works, we try to analyze it. I think world over we do, but यहाँ पे हम ज़्यादा करते हैं. We try to analyze what has worked based on the feedback, what has not worked, what do we do. When part comes for a continuation, sequel, we try to see, okay, this is what people have liked, this is what they have not liked, and वहीं से formula शुरू हो जाता है. So how do you make sure that you come up with something that is better, fresher, but organic, not formulaic? How do you do that?
Very honestly, when I was told that they want a second offering of Silence, I never thought कि उसमें क्या what worked, what didn't work, because I feel that each story has a certain journey. So if I try and take out something from that journey and try and put it in this, it's not going to work.
Right.
So when I started writing it, it was completely like I knew I had my team, so I was lucky with that. I knew also how they will perform, how they will behave. For me, that was my only factor that mattered. My team taking the case forward and culminating and reaching the end, and solving the crime. So isme there are certain factors which were there which were repeated, which means his relationship with his daughter. So that is there because that is about him. That is about ACP Avinash Verma. It's got nothing to do with the case.
Right.
So his personal story comes a little more over here. I wish I had more time to dwell on Prachi's backstory or Raj's backstory or Amit's backstory. But you have to tell so much in that 2 hours, no? तो कहीं ना कहीं तो you have to
कोई बात नहीं part 3 में कर लेंगे.
Yeah, maybe.
Fingers crossed.
Let's make
Yes.
bonus content for the
Bonus
viewers.
content.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
do
that's a
that.
good idea.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
Sanjana's
No
backstory.
time limit, Aban.
No, oh, lovely. I love that.
See, creativity flow हो रही है. Manoj ji, when Silence came out, the first one, it was in the middle of the pandemic and people were glued to OTT. And suddenly this character becomes a little like the word that I've used with your character so often, iconic. मतलब लोगों को अचानक से वो click कर गया. Did you ever think, because it's such a simple story told in a very simple manner, यहाँ पे कोई आपका elevation नहीं है, कोई presentation में ऐसा कुछ खास नहीं है, but I think it clicked with some people for some reason and it became so iconic that people thought कि नहीं, he should come back. Having done so many characters over the year जो public में click कर जाते हैं, have you ever found कि ये क्या है जो click करता है या नहीं? What is it that makes those characters stick so well?
You don't need to analyze it, actually. I really feel that it's very difficult to gauge the audience's reaction. It's but at the end of the day, it always starts with the script. The character has to be part of a very engaging script, a world that audience on OTT have not seen it, and they are going, and the writer and the director is taking them on a journey which is unknown, but yet very thrilling and very exciting, and in many ways it should be something that they have seen it for the first time. Though you have seen many cop story, ours is a society or industry, they find cop story very dramatic.
Yeah, very dramatic.
So they always tend to go back to it again and again, okay? Because all those cases, I mean, you sit in a police station and you go through the cases and you suddenly realize that, there are so many characters and there are so many stories, there are so many investigations, there are so many crimes which are really, calling for your attention, right? So that's one thing. But when it is coming to really pure investigation, we've never done it.
Right.
Okay.
Procedural.
The procedural, yeah.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
And this is the first time a director or writer is trying to take you on that journey where you are really looking at things from a very different perspective. Drama is there, thrill is there, intrigue is there, suspense is there, but those technicalities of the process, how tedious it is, and how educating it is.
Right.
I mean, it was for me as an actor. I was not very much aware of all that procedure
That goes
and
behind the
that goes behind every investigation.
Mm.
So yes, that is an added thing to this, and people loved it.
Right.
People loved it, but because at the core of it, it's a murder mystery.
Right.
Okay, and if it is made well, uh, people tend to love the whole whodunit.
Whodunit, yeah, of course.
So kind of a story.
So I'll tell you what when I first saw Silence, the first one, and when I saw the trailer for this one, I was drawn to a few of my favorites, which is CSI, Along Came a Spider, those sort of things, which are very police procedural buddy cop.
This is
Yeah,
what it is,
yeah.
exactly.
Like even a few of Clint Eastwood's films, the Dirty Harry series, and all.
Yes.
That's sort of like. So what were your inspirations? Where did you draw this from?
See, I am a huge fan of this genre, anyways. So I love Michael Connelly. Have you read?
Oh yes.
Okay, so for me, Harry Bosch is ultimate. So for me, my Avinash was like a Hieronymus Bosch. So it was for me, that was my idol. How I would, not in terms of idol in terms of how great he is, how he is, but how his life is, and how much of a perfectionist he is. Like, he is willing to cross everybody at any given point of time, as long as he reaches the end.
Right.
And so yes, that was my inspiration. And a lot of, like, I love Jeffrey Deaver. I love there's so many good authors who are again procedural.
Yeah.
So I love the whole forensics part. I love the whole trying to see what happened. So you are already here. The crime is already done.
Right.
Now you have to go back and see that process.
Layers kholni hai
That is important.
Right.
So that is what is exciting for me.
And you are becoming an expert in procedural now. G5. Like she mentioned the word forensic. That's what you spoke for the last time as well. Silence now. What I like about Silence and your character is that in many stories where we have a central figure who's a leader of a team, usually writers, what they do is they dumb down the other people to make them look smart. ताकि हमारा hero smart लगे, इसलिए बाकी आसपास बड़े लोग clueless हैं. That doesn't happen here. Everyone in the team is a competent person. And that used to irritate me earlier with stories कि यार अगर ये team इतनी competent है तो सिर्फ एक ही इंसान क्यों चल रहा है, बाकी सब why are they acting like fools? That is not happening here. They make mistakes, yes. You know, Avinash's team makes mistakes, but they are all very competent, intelligent people. Which do you like that refreshing change as well? That the Sanjana is not just a caricature standing in the background. She has her own intelligence. She has her own things. She has her own contribution, as do the other two as well, to the team. Nice thing, right?
I mean, that's a beautiful observation by you. Nobody's really told us
this. Yes.
However, for us, we knew the fact. I love how Aban humanized all of us. You know, even ACP Avinash, he's not your typical cop to begin with, where you know, he's dressed in a certain way or he stands in a certain way. You see Sir's body language. It really reflects that lonely man that he talks about, you know, every single time. Same with Sanjana, Amit and Raj. I absolutely love Sanjana because I feel like, you know, when I read the script for the first time, I called back Aban and I said, this is, you know, during the lockdown and everything, we couldn't really meet. I didn't know Aban before this. And she said, you know what? Take your cup of coffee, sit in your favorite corner of the house, because she's such an avid reader. So that's how she reads her books and stories. Yeah. I did the same. And she was right. I really couldn't put it down. I had to finish it through and through. And the first question I asked her, Aman, you know, I mean, I didn't say the words, but I said, you know, this really isn't like a typical cop. How do you see her placed in this unit the whole time? And she just... It was so simple because she humanized them, and Sanjana did not need to be another man in the man's team. You know, she could be herself. Sanjana. She could just be herself.
One thing I want to point out the difference is when Silence had come out first one, you inadvertently had taken a break because a couple of things got delayed, then the pandemic happened. And during the promotions, every question was asked to you was, "Kaisa lag raha hai comeback?" So are you now happy that no comeback questions coming your way? Because you've been doing work so much. Like, it's almost like floodgates got opened after.
No, first of all, what is a comeback? Where do you go from where you have to come back? Okay, that I really want to know. So that only the media can tell me because they ask me this.
Okay.
So I'm like, is there a room you go to? And then, you know, the gates open and you come back. Or is there, do you leave the country and you come back? Where is that comeback? Okay, first of all. But yeah, I mean, see, this is what I absolutely love doing. So being on the sets is when I'm literally the happiest, or even now. I think just being with all of you and doing this, this makes me immensely happy. But I think this comeback word, of course, is a bit funny. Our profession is such where, we don't realize that a little bit delay here and there takes away a considerable amount of our time.
Yeah.
A film anyway is a process of months or years.
Right.
For Aban, she was writing it for so long, and then for her to, she's also one of the producers of the film.
Right.
So for them to put that together to make it, the post, it's a long
It's a lengthy
process.
process. Yeah.
Any delay here and there could take away 6 months from your life, or a
True.
year from your life. Of
Like the
course,
pandemic did, no?
and then
Which
the pandemic did to all of us. So I think all of that definitely did add up. But this is something I just a friend of mine reminded me, and she said, do you know the long gap that Deepika had, after, I guess she did Triple X or something like that. Shah Rukh sir, had these long gaps. I'm sure my favorite Vidya Balan has also,
Even
had
a
like a
steam
gap
company
between
then.
everybody. And it's really funny to think, just because, yes, of course, the audience is not seeing us in a particular project at that point, it may seem like a gap. And I'm one of those who does not put in an effort to just be seen while, I'm not actively maybe on the sets for a movie. So I don't do that. So maybe that's why people feel
assume
like,
that you're just
yes, we haven't seen you for
and
that.
also probably
that
because
time.
they want to see you.
That's the best feeling.
Yeah, because
I
they
love
miss,
it.
They miss not
That's so,
seeing you.
yeah, that's so nice.
Maybe it comes from there that we've not seen you for the longest time. And
But
that is nice because that shows their love.
That is a really great feeling.
They want to see more of
And
you.
for that reason, I'm willing to answer as many questions as they have.
I will end this interview with a question for the two of you. Manoj sir often plays characters like ACP Avinash in a different milieu that जिनको गुस्सा बहुत जल्दी आता है and आता है तो यहाँ पहुँच जाता है that सामने नेताजी बैठे हों तो वो उन पे भी चिल्ला देते हैं. मनोज सर खुद ऐसे हैं नहीं इतने.
बिल्कुल नहीं.
हाँ, वो बहुत ही
so
शांत इंसान है वो. But what is it that takes for Manoj sir to turn into ACP Avinash? Manoj Bajpayee को गुस्सा किस चीज से आता है ये आप दोनों हमें बताइए.
See, I'll tell you how he turns into ACP Avinash. He steps out of his vanity with his moustache and his clothes, and he walks inside. He walks in with a certain demeanor. As he walks to that SCU table which is there, he's walking in. He is ACP Avinash.
That's true.
I'm not kidding you. And you give him, he's prepared with his lines. He knows there are some lines like, because it's a police procedural, you need to explain
Like
as to why it's there and where it's going. And there are some technical words which need, explanation. But once he gets that, he is ACP Avinash Verma. He says those lines. He believes in those lines. So I think he takes on that persona.
So, and as a junior in both the SU and in the industry, आपको उनका गुस्सा नहीं झेलना पड़ा अभी तक?
उसको less, अमित को ज़्यादा.
And why is that?
Because character is ऐसा है.
Because his timing is so bad. He cracks really bad jokes just when Sir has the toughest lines to explain. I mean, and for, all of this that we're talking about, these lines that we're talking about, when you watch the film, you will know that he's literally explaining the way that murder took place and all of the technical terms where those are things for us, for us to know, for cops to know. And of course, the information that has come from the forensic specialists is the doctors and all of that. So I'm just like, it takes so long for that to
sink
really
in.
Sink in. That's true.
And then to absorb कि हाँ ये मेरा expertise है.
Yes.
मैं पहली बार नहीं बोल रहा वो.
Exactly. Also, the funny part is if you put one word before the other,
meaning
that
changes.
happens. Yes. This is not. It's like the Night Owl Bar Shootout.
It's not the
owl night. Shootout at the Night Owl Bar. I mean, this you can still do, but those terms you cannot do that. And Amit had really bad timing. He would crack jokes at the wrong time. then none of us could save him. What can we say? So
हिरण की तीसरी आंख खुलती थी.
इस बार ACP को और गुस्सा और आ रहा है थोड़ा.
Thank you for the time, guys.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
looking forward to the film. All the
Thank
best
you.
for it. Silence
Thank
2
you
comes
so
out on
much.
Z5 on April 16. Please do watch it.
16 अप्रैल को
16 April.